Hello. Everyone was on their phones, and then I said hello, and I just saw a sea of heads just rising at the same time. Welcome to Crafting Live. This panel, we are going to talk to some amazing content creators who live stream Minecraft. How many of you guys watch live streamed Minecraft? Yeah, all right. So you might be familiar with some of these faces, so we're going to go down the line if you guys want to introduce yourselves and tell them exactly who you are and how long you've been live streaming.
My name's Chad Johnson, also known as OMG Chad. I've been live streaming for over a year now, I think, but I also had...
It's a small rave next door.
Is that God?
Fine.
Hello? I've also, in my previous job, I was a producer for a live stream network called TWIT, which stands for This Week in Tech, and we also did some video game content with a few different shows.
I'm Matt, also known as Sevidus, and I've been streaming for 4.5 years. And OG, very OG. These lights, can we talk about how bright these lights are right now?
You look fabulous, though,
Thank you.
I'm Bacon, but you can call me Bacon. I live stream over at bacon_donut on Twitch. I've been at it for 2 years full time. Played with it a little before then, but very cool.
Hey guys, Ant Venom here, otherwise known as Taylor. You can call me either one. And I've been streaming on Twitch ever since its inception, actually, even a little bit prior to that, on and off here and there. And mostly I do like speedrunning stuff, but I try and mix it up all around.
Hi, I'm Martin from the Yogscast. I go by In the Littlewood as well as my handle. Wow, okay. Thank you. But yeah, I live stream on Twitch at the moment primarily, and I play Minecraft as well as various other games as well, so there we go.
Hi, I'm Jordan, also known as... also go by Captain Sparkles. I stream on Twitch, as with everyone else here. Been doing it for about 4+ years or so, and do a lot of Minecraft. Stream Mionite, that's the big Minecraft thing that I've been doing lately. And then other games here and there as well. Pretty cool stuff.
So one of the cool things about live streaming Minecraft is obviously you get to play it live, right? You get to play it in front of people and have them interact. You can answer individually or however you want to do it. But what do you think is the best part? So like people like Matt and Bacon do this full time. They don't do anything else. They live stream. Not that you don't do anything else. They don't do anything but play video games. But they get to watch it live. Their primary source of content is live streamed content as opposed to videos that you may watch on YouTube or elsewhere. So what do you think are the advantages of playing Minecraft live as opposed to like recording it, uploading it, and then watching the comments later?
For me, one of the advantages is that I can't get bored because there's always like thousands of people yelling at me and commenting on how horrible I'm doing something or whatever the case may be. I think the fact that when I'm streaming, it's much more about the audience than it is about the game is really what's really appealing to me. So I don't have to be good at it. I don't have to do it well. I don't really have to accomplish anything. As long as I'm like moving pixels, it works because my focus is on the audience.
Is that known as pushing pixels?
Yes.
You don't push the paper, you push the pixels? I really like playing with people too. It's by far the best way to jump into a game with my audience instead of like saying like starting a mumble or something like that. It's so much fun to jump in and play a game with the audience and have them school me and kill me a lot. But yeah, that's a big advantage for me.
Kind of like Matt was saying, for me, I'm pretty bad at games. and so I just try to compensate by being funny. And I love being in front of an audience because I can immediately tell if something I'm doing is working, right? Like if I do something and I'm trying to be silly and it doesn't really land as funny, then I'm going to see that Or if I do something and not even realizing that it was funny, the chat just explodes. I'm like, oh, that was good. I need to do more of that. And it's a process that happens immediately. I don't have to wait for like next week when I post the video or whatever. And so it's a process that I enjoy a lot. To me, that makes it a lot more compelling than static content.
So our three guys on the end here, you guys also do YouTube primarily. So the difference between YouTube and live is pretty different, right? So is there anything that happens on live that you can't accomplish, or something that happens when you're streaming on Twitch that you find enjoyable, and why you've also added it to your content plan instead of just your videos that are on demand?
Well, I've done a couple of series where getting viewer feedback is really crucial, you know, on YouTube, and then I've done stuff on Twitch as well. And I really have to piggyback off of what these guys are saying, that getting the live feedback is incredibly important, you know, and I personally enjoy, like, everyone face-palming collectively, thousands of people at the exact same time when I do something wrong. It's just like, oh man, I'm gonna get a comment from every one of these people. So yeah, I would say just being able to get that live feedback is the biggest difference and the best difference, in my opinion.
I think for me, it just gives me a stronger sense of community when we play stuff. I think video as opposed to live stream, and if you want to play with your audience in games, have them be a part of the video and a part of that experience, it's hard to kind of tweet and go, be on this server at this time and let me know your username and stuff. Whereas if you're actually live on Twitch, you can actually show people the lobby you're in, and they can immediately come in and join with you. And more often than not as well, I will actually whitelist like Twitch subscribers for priority and stuff. And I think having them a bit more integral to the experience for me is a lot easier to do via a live format than it is by a kind of a post-live format with YouTube videos.
Yeah, for me, I think what's really cool about live streaming is it's just way more casual. Like when I'm posting a YouTube video, I'm like, is this polished enough? Are people gonna like it? Is this sort of up to standards? But when it comes to live streaming, I can kind of just play and have a good time and not really have to worry about that sort of thing. And there's definitely a lot more of that live interaction that's really cool, that as I'm going, people can be like, hey, you should do this, and you should do this. And it's not usually uniform at all, and usually people are telling me to do a million different things, and I have to be like, I don't know what of those to do. But I think, I don't know, I like the casual aspect of it, and not really having to worry as much about making something super polished.
So that brings up a really good point, that you find that it's pretty casual to live stream instead of like setting up a formal video and recording it and worrying about all of that. Do any of you guys feel kind of that same way, that when you're live streaming, you're kind of just in the moment and having fun? Or do you do it mostly to relax? Because you guys on the end do YouTube primarily. So do you ever use live stream as just like, you know what, I just want to play a game, I want to talk to my fans? Like, how do you feel about both of those scenarios?
For me, it's pretty much the opposite. Like, when I make a YouTube video, it's the most casual, like, let's just do it and chop it up kind of thing that I can get away with. And for when I live stream, I've got like 30 minutes of prep where I'm like making sure all the lighting's right and the cameras are all set up right and all the audio sounds good and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think I'm like the complete opposite when it comes to like which one is like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that sentiment, because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to like how the layouts and all that are set. So like I'll start up my stream and just be like, okay, make sure the webcam is actually gonna load up and the game's actually gonna load up and all that. And yeah, I mean, I put that sort of professionalism, or at least I try to, into my videos as well. So it's kind of even in terms of like Twitch versus YouTube in that regard.
For me, Minecraft is the majority of my content, so when I feel like relaxing, so to speak, that's when I play another game. I'll stream in a different time slot than what I normally stream in and play something completely different and just not even care whether anybody shows up or whatever. That's the way I like to relax.
I think YouTube is definitely a much more kind of formulaic process. Like, you know, people will have like their little catchphrases, their intro, they'll have a very particular end slate. Some people are also very mindful of just how long they're going to play for to get a certain number of videos from a certain number of hours or half an hour or whatever else it may be. So I think sometimes that can sort of take you out the moment, because your mind is always a little bit absent and you're keeping an eye on your little stopwatch that you've got or something like that. Whereas live streaming, I've been playing Fallout 3 for the first time, and I literally, you know, snap on my fingers 6 hours later, and it absolutely flew by. Whereas I find YouTube, it feels much more like a job, I guess. But Twitch is for me, is a much more kind of personal and sort of like free time project, I guess.
I think that I use ingredients of sort of everything. You were talking about formulaic. At the start of every single live stream, I don't know why, but I always go, what is this? What is this? And I just can't break away. I don't know why. It's just impossible. And in terms of like, professionalism or more laid back, I kind of do different streams on different days. So like my Wednesday stream is
Very different than Friday.
Very different. Friday, it's like, you mentioned like, was your motivation just to chill? It's like literally the motivation was I want to drink a lot of alcohol with friends. That was the plan, and it works every single Friday. So
you guys are at the point now, a lot of you mentioned like, okay, I've got my stream set up, I've got to check my lighting, I've got to check my sound levels, I've got to check all of this. I don't know if a lot of you know this, my actual first experience with video games online was with Martin, and he met on Twitter and he was like, hey, we should live stream a video game. And I was like, what is it? And he was like, people watch you play games. And I was like, why would they do that? That sounds weird. But that was literally, I didn't have a YouTube channel, didn't have Twitch, nothing. And that was our first experience. So for you guys, before you became professional live streamers, what was the first kind of interaction that you had with live streaming? And were you like, this is so weird? Like, what made you take that first step into playing games in front of thousands of people?
How far back do you want to go?
To the day. Like if you say
the
back
first
in the
time I
day,
ever went
I want to
live?
know that day.
When you were
Back
born.
to the first time I went live?
Yeah. I mean,
This
if you
is
can't tell the story here, don't tell that. I don't know.
it's an adult website.
When I
Keep it clean, Matt. Keep it clean.
to be relatively clean. When I was a junior in undergraduate, I was watching, I forget who it was. I was watching somebody who had a 24-hour stream of themselves on their own website. And I was like, and it was just their office. So they would leave and you wouldn't know what they were doing. And so I was like, this is really interesting. And I didn't have an honors project yet, and I needed one. And I was like, I have an idea. Bad idea. I'm going to stream myself 24/7 for the next 3 months for this semester. And I have to be on camera, visible for 22 hours a day. And so I did that, and that was a horrifying experience. It was a talk about privacy and stuff like that, but that was horrible. Like, the first day I'm realizing, how am I gonna shower? How do I go about going to class and all these kinds of things?
2 hours isn't enough for a shower.
2 hours, I actually showered. So the reason I had to take 2 hours off is because one of my professors said I couldn't stream from his classroom. So I did stream myself sleeping. I streamed myself in the shower. It was very blurred, don't worry. It was an odd experience. But once I found Justin TV at the time, I was like, oh, well, if I could do that, I could totally do this. And so that's when I started streaming Minecraft on JTV.
For me, I've always, from the first moment that I saw the internet, immediately fell in love, immediately figured out how it worked. I went to college, got a computer degree, started making web pages, and I was a web developer. And I've enjoyed online content creation since the beginning, since YouTube first came out and all of that. But it was always just hobby. And the thing that first brought me to live streaming in this, current age is tournaments for esports, specifically StarCraft. And I've followed the pro scene and watched all that. And I didn't have any trouble getting the concept. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is awesome. I want to try this. And it became my biggest hobby. I would go to work and then I'd come home and I'd stream and just fell in love with it until now it's my job.
Well, I know I could go really far back, so I don't want to take up too much time here, but in a nutshell, I remember watching old Counter-Strike 1.6 tournaments, even as far back as 2004, watching them live, and just there's a certain feeling to watching something live versus watching something that's pre-recorded. You almost feel like you're in the moment. It's the same as sort of like watching sports or something for those who like that. As far as where I actually started streaming, I think it was probably Guitar Hero, because I saw other people when they were trying to set like record scores and whatnot on that. And then for Minecraft, it was just like if I was building a, like when I started doing it a lot with Minecraft, it was like I would start working on a project that I feel like would be cool to just be chatting with an audience or something. And decided live streaming was the best way to sort of do that. So I had already known a lot about live streaming, and I just sort of dug into it at that point because it seemed like a great idea.
I'm kind of embarrassed by my one. It's really lame, like really, really lame. So I come from a radio background, for anybody that doesn't know. And at the time when I was working as a radio presenter, I was obviously very into video games, and I just started the YouTube thing. And I remember doing something as early on livestream.com that where me and a friend, we decided for whatever reason we were going to bring up Eurovision, and we were going to do our own commentary over the top of it. It was really lame, but then I thought, hey, why don't I try and translate this into video games and with YouTube and stuff. And this was before Justin TV had even like sort of taken off. And that is kind of the earliest memory that I have when it comes to live streaming games. And you know, coming from a radio background, a live format for me I think plays a lot better to my strengths. I'm able to communicate with a live audience really well, as opposed to doing a video where I think I have too many hang-ups and anxieties about things. So there you go, there's mine. I commentated a music contest.
For me, I discovered live streaming actually after I had started doing the YouTube video on demand content. So my first experience was really just doing the same thing that I'm doing now. I guess I don't really have an early Sevidus type story myself. Never live streamed myself showering. So.
You have streamed yourself eating bananas and pizza multiple
Well,
times.
yeah. I mean, before my stream starts, occasionally if I'm hungry, I'll eat some food. But that's about the extent of it for the most part.
What about you?
What about me?
What about you?
I told you my story. Martin got me into it. Yeah.
Did you? I don't remember.
Sevidus doesn't listen when I talk, so this is a normal thing that happens all the time.
You notice he's got in front of me every single time.
Look
We're
at
like,
him.
have
He
this,
just
we
like
have
he
this
doesn't
thing.
still doesn't remember anything that I just said.
We're doing the order.
Is Seth Bling here? Because he would be like all about this order thing. We had this
It's-
we had this
it's
problem
fine.
at the last one.
So for Bacon, you had another job before
Yes.
you were live streaming. So at what point were you like, I could just play games instead of my other job? Like what was that like?
Well, it was amazing. What happened for me is that I was streaming. It was still a hobby. It was going pretty well, but it definitely was not quit your day job time. And I lost my job, so I was unemployed, and I had more time on my hands. And basically, it got to the point where I realized that if I was gonna job hunt and start into a new job, that was going to take up all my time, and I probably wouldn't be able to live stream much anymore. And so it basically came down to my community, right? So they rose up and said, we want you to do this, and we're going to make sure that your bills are paid. And a group of people specifically came to me privately and said, you tell us when your bills are, we're going to make sure that they're paid. And that's when I knew that I had the support required to make it happen, and I just attacked it. So then I was streaming 12 hours a day, six or 7 days a week, and I'm very proud of the fact that I never had to take them up on that offer, but it gave me the confidence to know that that they were going to support me, and just everything exploded, and I never looked back. And that was 2 years ago.
So that is another great point. So I know that I think everybody on this panel has participated in some kind of charity event live. I have always found that when I've done videos saying like, hey, I'm gonna do this charity event, or hey, there's this great cause, when I do it live on Twitch, the community seems to just embrace that and like push it forward. I know that the three of us have done a charity, UHC, I think Jordan was in it also. We raised $46,000 in 3 hours. So that speaks a lot to the kind of community that we have on Twitch and through live streaming. So can you guys share a story or something that just kind of emphasizes what you feel like live streaming the benefits are when it comes to needing help or having charitable or the community, just how they can band together around this live content.
Right. It really hit me when we did the Mining for Change event, which is a great organization that helps give families who have very ill children financial support in other ways that a lot of other charities kind of forget. Like, let's say they've already gotten a charitable donation to cover their expenses, their medical expenses, but if a family can't afford gas to get their child to the hospital, well, that's a problem. So when we did that event, we also got to go to a gala. Me and Jordan actually went to the gala together, and that was the first time that I really got to hear stories from parents and from the community and the other charities that were working with Mining for Change, and it really hit me hard that the community and myself could spend a few hours together having a great time and really change lives. That really hit home hard in a way I was not expecting, and it's really changed my outlook on any time that I can help with a charity event from now and into the future.
I think one of the awesome things that we get to do every day is build amazing communities, and to be able to take that kind of influence and leverage it for something that good is absolutely amazing. So every time we get the opportunity, we're approached a lot to help out, and we always find a way to say yes. We'll make it work, in order to help anybody out.
Yeah, usually it's by Aurelian.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, can you come and be in this charity event? And those are some of my favorite times. I love it. One of my favorite examples of the Minecraft community, and especially in terms of live streaming, really rising up in support, happened at MINECON last time. So MINECON 2013, a live streamer friend of mine, I won't mention his name because I don't want to embarrass him or whatever, but MINECON was over, and he went to go home, and he got out of the cab and left his wallet in the cab. And so all his money, his credit cards, his ID, which is required to get on the airplane to go home, all of it just gone. And he had no idea if he was going to get it back or not. And so I contacted him and got him, I sent a cab to pick him up and brought him to my hotel. And it wasn't long before the live stream community heard about his situation, and they just all started, donations just started flooding in. And in less than an hour, he had enough money to buy another plane ticket and get a hotel for the night and all of that to be taken care of. He would have been just fine. And that was entirely from the force of the community. And thankfully, he got his wallet back and everything worked out fine. But it was me as a new person. This was right 2 years ago. That's right at the beginning of my journey here in all this, and it was a powerful moment.
Sorry, yeah. So for us, I know every year we do the Yogscast charity live streams at Christmas time, and that's just always such an overwhelming experience in terms of just how generous people are. We set these silly goals of we'll dance on camera and we'll play Just Dance if we get £10,000 in the next half an hour. And then when it happens, you're just like, that is insane. And then when you sit down and look at the stats of what £10 can buy flu shots and all these other kinds of things, it's crazy. And we've done a lot of stuff with that over the last few years. A lot of people in this room have probably contributed towards that, and we've raised millions. But one of the ones that always kind of reminds me just how impactful all this stuff is there's a streamer called Athene. He's based somewhere in Europe, and he's got a charity called Gaming for Good. And not only do they just raise loads of money and obviously forward it on to the kids and everybody there, but they actually take time out to actually go to these villages and actually see the places that they're helping to sort of cure and mend, and actually getting to see it physically rather than just looking at a few numbers. I just have so much admiration for Athene and Reese and the rest of the guys that do that sort of stuff. And the generosity of the audience as well is just always just baffling. So if anybody ever donates something like that, thank you so much. It literally changes lives. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you guys have raised several $1 million? That's ridiculous. Well, I've had the pleasure of being able to attend a couple events from Children's Miracle Network called Celebration. It takes place each year. Extra Life, which is an organization that myself and many other people here help raise money for, they funnel into Children's Miracle Network, which helps sick kids get treatments across the U.S. and Canada, I think. And so getting to sort of meet these kids firsthand and see what our fundraising is helping to accomplish is a pretty humbling experience, especially like going around and some of the kids actually watch my videos, and I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. Hold the tears back. It's pretty amazing to see that stuff firsthand, and it really motivates you to keep working at it. And so many more charity streams to come as the years go by.
I think something that's very special about gaming, live streaming, and whatnot, things of that nature in general. I went to an event that's called AGDQ, Awesome Games Done Quick, and specifically they read off donations. And a lot of the times, these are donations from people who have had their lives impacted in some way or another, and have either, gaming has been their escape, or gaming has been something that they enjoy. It's brought them entertainment. And it's very special to see those kinds of people, just want to give back in such an amazing way. So, whether it be donating in any amount of the charity live streams that happen. But I think it's awesome that the gaming community in general is just so willing to give and so willing to be seen and want to be seen in such a positive light. I think there's something very special about that, knowing that whether it be us, whether it be any live streamer in general, is able to impact people to the degree where they want to give back, and it just is sort of this circle of positivity in that regard.
So as Bacon mentioned, I have the privilege of working for Twitch, and I get to organize a lot of the charitable events that we do on Twitch and get to involve these awesome streamers and content creators. And a big shout out to you guys, because what you don't see behind the scenes is a lot of times charities come to us and say, we love the Minecraft community because of how awesome they are and how supportive they are of our causes and of everyone else. So to everyone who takes part of those charity live streams, thank you guys so much, because what we get to do by giving back happens because of you guys. And just know that people around the world and these charities and organizations look to Minecraft because you guys are such an amazing fan base of people to work with. So props to you guys for all of that. Yay!
This round of applause is for you guys.
Yeah, that's for you. But speaking of the Yogscast charity streams and things like that, we sometimes do some pretty embarrassing things during these live streams. I have cried on more than one occasion, which are all now viewable for forever on the internet. So can you guys share a moment about a time that you were playing Minecraft and something happened and you were like, I cannot believe that I just did this in front of all of these people? And maybe not you, but anyone else. No.
Why not me?
Keep it clean.
I mean, this happens.
I'll censor for you guys.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I do. I mean,
You
this
can go
happens
out
like
of order,
every day.
too. You
It
don't
happens
have
like every day. Picking out one time where I fail is very difficult because I don't get to edit. I don't know. It's just constantly every few minutes I do something stupid.
One of my favorite moments was when sorry, I stole the mic from you. Sorry. For you, when you were playing FTB or you were playing something and you accidentally set off a nuke in your base, and it just destroyed everything. And you were just like, I had to edit that VOD, and you were just quiet.
Let's not play that clip. It would just be a bunch of beep. That was bad. Yeah, lots of explosions, and I was not happy. I actually stopped playing after that day, and I came up with some excuse. I think I told everybody that, like, the world file got corrupted or something, and I just was not going back there.
I'm completely with Sev there, and doing this live, I've kind of built a career out of embarrassing myself, so it's a little hard to pinpoint certain things, but one sticks out just because it was recent. This was like a week ago or something. I was playing my mod pack, and there's a particular item that I needed to craft. And to get the materials to craft it took like an hour and a half, all live. I was like, and it included a boss kill because I needed a nether star, like this whole big long journey. And I'm standing, my base is over the void. And at one point I'm standing there and my fingers just slipped and I accidentally hit the letter Q and the item, just after I crafted it, whoop, right into the void. No! Little bit embarrassing.
So you guys on the end, they're used to being able to edit.
Have to make it again.
They're used to being able to edit out mistakes on YouTube, which you can't do on Twitch, right? So do you have any moments where you're like, I just wish I could have edited this moment out, and I can't?
I've started live streaming before when I didn't mean to start live streaming. So that, like I've started, I meant to just record a vlog for YouTube. And it was like usually when I'm done streaming, I go into OBS and I disable the streaming function, and I forgot to do that, and I accidentally clicked start streaming instead of record. And so I started recording a video for YouTube, and then quickly realized that I was streaming, and my mods were like typing to me in Skype, like, you're streaming right now, you realize that? And then I just go, and then quickly exited.
I've literally done that exact thing before. Like, I actually remember what video it was. It was I was recording for some animation thing, right? And I finished the commentary, and I'm like, oh, hi, Twitch. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
I kind of want to just make a point of this as well. Obviously, F5 in Minecraft is to change which viewpoint you're in. F6 is to stream. That is an awful location for that key.
It used to do it. It used to do it where it wouldn't even tell you.
So that, yeah. If you literally have
It
your
used
Twitch
to
details
just start streaming.
Yeah, so
and now
there have
they've
been so many
added
times I've
are
been
you
mid-video.
sure?
I have specifically unlinked my Twitch account from my Mojang account for that very reason.
Yeah, I went live numerous times.
I've gone live by accident twice. I did
How
it.
long before you noticed?
Tell us the
long
story.
time. So the first time was we were doing Gmod, and I was using it to record my face cam, and I had just streamed everyone's voice. My voice was muted, and it was just face cam on me. It was really weird, really weird. And there's a moment in the Skype call where Pyro goes to look at Twitter, and he was reading. You can tell he's just reading it live. He goes, tell OMG Chad that he is live right now. And you can see in my face cam, I'm just like, oh no. And then the second time, I thought, a hotkey would be the best thing in the world to start streaming. Not when you own a cat. I was asleep, and my cat stepped on the home key, which is my normal hotkey to start streaming. And it started streaming, and there is 10 minutes of me asleep until a friend of mine saw it and gave me a call. And it's the worst, because you can even see the cat, like in the beginning of the stream, like rub her face up against my microphone and like chew on a thing she's not allowed to chew on. And I have video evidence of that. And then I woke up. That actually got TV television shows, like news shows, talked about that when.
The way you woke up was fantastic. You woke up like, what's going on?
Oh yeah.
And then you just sit there for a minute staring at it like you're not understanding what's going on. And then you have like a bag on your head. He's sleeping with a bag on his head.
Beautiful hair. You have to protect it when
I
it sleeps.
had just redone my hair the night before, which means that I have like 2 shower caps on and like a bandana, and I had like a wife, like a what is it called, a tank top like thing on. I looked like a gangster. It was great.
Life lessons: don't put your computer in your bedroom.
Never add a hotkey. Bedroom, bad idea. Hotkey also to start streaming, disable it. Don't even think that that's going to add convenience into your life.
I think you won.
I
think
won?
you won
the
that
embarrassing
conversation.
stories, and you wanted to skip me.
I did.
I feel like setting your hotkey to be 2 different keys, like control something, I still feel like the cat would find a way.
So I was at Chad's house live streaming. I was borrowing his computer while I was in town, and in the middle of this, I'm like we were playing Dungeons and Dragons. I was like playing really seriously, and I was like trying to be in character, and his cat jumped up like on my head, and then there's just like a cat on my head for like 5 solid minutes. I was looking at like, what do I do? Yeah, his cat's a jerk. His cat is a jerk.
Sella is a jerk.
Accept your
Waffles
fate.
Yeah, so she'll just jump on your chair. You're just like, hey, what's up?
So I think we're going to take some questions from the audience. If you guys very slowly and very carefully want to line up, we're going to ask. We actually have Twitch chat pulled up. Hi, Twitch. Hello, everyone want to say hello
Hi,
to
Twitch.
the people
I
at
see
home
what you're saying about
who are watching.
Kappa HD.
So if you guys have questions for the broadcasters, you can come up here, line up, ask questions for one or multiple ones of the casters. But what's some questions?
You know, we have a delay.
It's 10 seconds. Hi, Twitch chat.
Oh, they're just saying hello right now.
See? They're all
Sup.
saying hello. Sup? What's your first question?
This question for Martin, because I used to DJ with Martin back at HFFM and HHFM.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, very old. And it's nice to see how you've kind of gone from small to big. And what's your favourite moment from going from DJing over to Yogscast?
I think just purely because I used to be a radio head, and it was a really exciting moment for me. This was literally 2 years after the original parody went out, but I don't know if anybody's seen the song parody that I did. It was Lady Gaga's Born This Way, and I did a song called Form This Way. And literally out of nowhere, 2 years later, suddenly Lady Gaga's like tweeting out the video and like, yeah, this is really cool, like meta smart human, I think she called me. And then we were just having a conversation on Twitter, like, I really like your gunners. Yeah, these are really cool. What else are you into? When are you next in the UK? She's like, yeah, we should totally film a song together. Never heard from her since, but that was definitely a highlight for me, and it was very surreal. And my timeline for literal days, like if I tweet Felix, PewDiePie, my timeline's nuked for about 2 hours. That was 2 weeks that I just had Queen notice me and all these other kinds of things. So I think, yeah, from the radio days to the YouTube stuff, that was the kind of the mashup that was just a little bit surreal, I think.
We're going to shout out Pause on Pause is watching actually right now. He's in the Twitch chat. He says hello. We can all talk about his memorable moment where he gave a $1,000 donated golden apple to a horse in the middle of UHC. So thank you for sharing your moments, your embarrassing moment, Pause, via the chat. Everyone is very proud of you. Hi.
So my question is, for a large Twitch chat of thousands and thousands of people, how do you feel about people that spend money in order to get more attention? Donators, subscribers, people who try to get call-outs. And this is for any of you. Open-ended question.
So I think everybody up here has a different approach to donations. Like, we're all individuals when it comes to that. My approach is incredibly hands-off. I barely recognize any sort of thing like that. And so for me, that's not an issue at all. I read every line of my chat. I definitely don't respond to every line of my chat, but I read every line of my chat. And that's not a way you can really get noticed too much on my stream. But I think other people could speak to quite the opposite.
Yeah, in my stream, I definitely try to shout out everything, all the support like that comes in. But if I notice people donating because they feel like that's how they have to talk to me, then I immediately take that as a cue of, okay, I need to pay more attention to chat because I don't at all want that to happen. So I'll back off from the game a bit and read chat more if that's happening.
I think it's certainly an interesting line to walk between recognizing people that are obviously financially contributing and really helping out the stream. But then I've never in my entire life ever done a live stream where it's been sub-only chat. That to me just doesn't feel right. I feel like my Twitch community is there, and the very least they can do is watch the live stream and be part of that community and the conversation. And I never want to kind of put that behind a paywall. It wouldn't feel right to me. But if somebody does contribute in that way, I will say thank you to them. And you know, I'm kind of quite selective about which messages on donations I actually read out. Sometimes it can be some self-promotion, so I kind of put that to one side. So it's just kind of pick and choosing your battles, I guess, with it.
I think I have the most open donations out of anyone, as anyone can donate anything, and it says it on stream, and I get some pretty huge donations sometimes, which I'm always incredibly humbled by. There's definitely a pressure when someone donates an awful lot of money that you should do something more for that person because they're supporting you so much. And the thing is that anyone who's ever donated a lot to me has always been someone I trust. There's never been anyone who's done it in a malicious way. They've always done it in a really nice and great way. And my biggest donators are some of the coolest people because they tend to not want an extra lot from me. They have their own, they have their own means to be able to donate that much, and they enjoy the content. And I never feel, other than my own pressure to really want to hype up that they're so generous, I never feel any other pressure to change my content to match them.
Thank you. Wait.
The stream just went down and everybody's using hashtag Jordan did it.
Blame Jordan, of course.
Blame Deck. He handles server stuff, not me.
It seems like you guys constantly get that trending. Like, that's amazing.
I guess.
It's always his fault. Hi. Hello.
My question to In the Littlewood, when is Simon going to be on YouTube again?
Honest answer is I don't know. It's not really something that's spoken about much in the office. The best place to see the answer for that would be the Q&A that we did at Comic-Con earlier this year. It's actually up on Terps's channel, and kind of Lewis gave probably the most in-depth answer to that. But honestly, me personally, I don't know. I know he's been away for a couple of months because he had a surgery and the recovery time from that. And I think it's just kind of finding the motivation to kind of rejoin the office. Obviously, every single one of us there would love to see him back in the office again, but for a little bit more detail, check out that video, and Lewis kind of explains it fully for you.
Raise your hand if you're like live chatting right now. Like there are people, yeah, you're like giving them updates, like
There's
what the
literally
questions
like two
are
in
and the
here.
answers are.
We got one there, and I think
we
there's
have
someone down
our
here.
newscasters right over here.
Wait,
right in the
So
middle.
you're telling me there's audience members telling the other...
Telling everybody else.
Can we make something up?
It's a full circle.
Can we say like, oh my gosh, Jordan just took off his pants?
No, can we not say that? What?
Sorry, that was
Jordan
rude.
Jordan looked all the way down and he goes, what?
What? Sorry, I'm embarrassed.
Hi.
Hello there, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm probably going to butcher this question, but what do you think doing YouTube has done to help you learn about yourself? What do you think you've discovered about yourself through doing YouTube? How do you think you've kind of gained higher knowledge from doing what you do?
I certainly talk better than I used to. I used to be sort of like very reclusive and like not very charismatic as far as like even just talking to my own family. And then YouTube was just sort of like even in the beginning with YouTube, I was very bad at it, and then it just kind of improved very slowly over time. And now I'm able to talk like with thousands of people watching, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, same for me on that one. I don't know so much what I've discovered about myself, more so I guess I've improved at various things like speaking. Going back to my earlier videos, they are real awkward to watch. Not to say I'm not awkward anymore, but I definitely think YouTube, streaming, all that stuff has helped with my ability to communicate, and that's a valuable skill to have. So highly recommend it to anyone out there. Do some streaming. Helps out with that.
YouTube has taught me that I hate editing. And I'd rather just press a go live button and be done.
I think as much as well as it kind of improves ourself, as in in terms of our own speech and how to kind of keep going and be eloquent and stuff like that. A massive thing as well is it can often be kind of awkward for people if they've not done it before to work in a group situation, and actually interpersonal communication skills I think have come up massively. I don't find myself drifting off or thinking about something else. Really engaging with other people, not only when it comes to creating a product, but also just in general conversation. Wow, that's loud. That's another big thing as well. So my own speech and speech with others as well. And I think that applies to all parts of life. If I meet somebody brand new around the convention, I kind of have a good ebb and flow now of how to communicate with that person.
I think for me too, going back to my very first YouTube videos, you can tell by my demeanor that I'm super shy and did I want to talk like this into a microphone? And I couldn't talk out loud. And I think that being live especially was one thing that helped me. I remember my first ever donation stream that I did for Extra Life. I was doing this stream and thought I would raise like a couple $100s at most because I didn't think anybody would like want to watch me stream for charity. And Direwolf came in and he was like, hey, Ari, why don't you raffle or like auction off some t-shirts? And I was like, no one wants a t-shirt like that has my face on it. And he was like, no, why don't you just try it? And I was like, okay. And 3 people both put in bids for $1,000 and they all paid $1,000 to have me sign a shirt. And I cried. Like that was like a moment in my life where I was like, oh, people think I'm important. I feel special. And I like cried.
Was it Game of Thrones finale level of cry? If nobody's seen it, you need to go to Ari's channel. She was watching the end of the latest season of Game of Thrones, and was it from your perspective? You pressed the capture. It's the most adorable thing ever. It's so cute and funny and a little bit sad at the same time.
Embarrassing moments that I posted on the internet.
That's the
I
problem.
could take that back, and I didn't.
Somehow on Twitch, if you do something silly, like all these moments that we've mentioned, there's always that one person who's recording it. There's always that one person who's going to grab the VOD before you can delete it, and it's immortalized.
I wasn't live on Twitch. I was just crying, and he was like, hey, this is really funny, and then he recorded it, and then we posted it online, because what else would you do with it? But there you go. Thank you. It was that level, by the way. Just tears.
Hello. This is a question for Jordan. I just wanted to know who's your biggest inspiration for YouTube and the reason why you started?
So in the beginning, I was just watching a lot of the videos from sort of the original group of Machinima Respawn folks who were playing Call of Duty and narrating over their good games and then posting it on there. So that's like Hutch, C. Nanners, Blame Truth, that group of initial guys who were doing that, because I started off with Call of Duty was my original game. So it was that whole group of people.
Thank you.
Hi. Hope you guys are doing good. But I have 3 questions. Is it okay if I ask them all?
If they're real quick.
Okay. They're not quick. So
Nice
I'll ask one.
Mindcracker pins.
Thank you.
Pick one.
Okay. If you could only use one medium, Twitch or YouTube, which one would it be?
Why have you got to do this to us?
Why'd you give that to me?
I don't want to live in a universe where I have to make that decision.
Twitch.
As bad as it sounds, because I was predominantly a YouTuber and kind of doing Twitch on the side, in recent months, I think people have noticed a slowdown of my video content just because I'm literally a human computer virus. So when it comes to editing and stuff, I have so many problems. So recently, and because of my radio experience, I'm kind of leaning towards Twitch. It's just such an exciting and collaborative platform at the minute, and I feel like YouTube is kind of not so much plateaued, but I feel like I've done as much as I can on there, so I'm really excited to sort of explore new territories and options.
Okay.
Twitch all day.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
And if I did have to live in that universe, I would have to actually pick Twitch. The live feedback is just the most amazing thing.
Hi.
Hello. When you're having your leisure time, when you're not doing streaming or YouTube, making videos on that, what kind do you play games casually without streaming it, basically?
I don't. Well, usually when I'm playing a game, I'm streaming it. Sometimes I'll do mobile games, very rarely. But I just graduated and I'm starting a Nerd Fusion company, which is streaming, and there's like a lot of stuff that we all kind of do on the side. But for me personally, I just don't have any time to play video games outside of streaming.
I do for sure. I often will play Minecraft off camera, and it's because I still legitimately love Minecraft, but the way that I play it is very different when I'm live than when I'm not. So I very often will I'll just sit down and play and just mine for like a couple hours and not have to keep commentary up, and it's very relaxing. But I also will play a lot of other games that I'm way too bad at to live stream.
I find that in recent times, between YouTube, Twitch, game development, taking care of life, and other long-term projects, I don't have much spare time. I used to play Dota 2 quite a bit just in my free time when I wasn't recording or anything, but not too often recently, although I keep telling myself I really need to like get back into playing Dota 2. So hopefully soon.
I think probably for me, the only time that I play video games outside of live streaming and videos now is just when I'm maybe traveling somewhere. So occasionally in the morning on the bus, I'll kind of bring out my PS Vita. I've been making my way through like Final Fantasy IX, I think it was. And failing that, I probably just prefer to read manga on the bus. So I'm making my way through One Piece, which is great, but it's amazing like how little interest I have in games when I'm not making videos, just because it's so many hours you put into it, as what might seem like a 20-minute video can often be anywhere up to an hour of actually playing the game and doing stuff, so you can feel a little bit burned out at times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Something I've always wondered.
This Twitch chat is awesome right now.
It really is.
Oh, and it died.
Hi.
Hello. I was gonna ask, like, what has been your longest running stream, and what was it about?
Seth, don't you do like a 36-hour stream or something?
I did a 76-hour stream.
You win.
I can do 50 like regularly, and I do them
Without sleeping?
Yeah, I do them like once a month. But like
Seth is a machine. He doesn't need to sleep.
I remember when it was. I was just approached by Twitch asking me if I wanted to do this new thing called the subscriber program. It was this newfangled technology or whatever, and I was like, okay, we'll celebrate. And so I started by saying for every like 1,000 followers I got, I would add an hour. And I started at like 6 hours, and that turned into that. And it was pretty awful.
I didn't know that was you, though.
It was pretty awful.
That's how out there that
I've done several 24-hour streams before. I can't do that anymore for health reasons, so 12 is my limit now. But it's brutal. Like, I could game, like I could just play games for 24 hours straight, no problem. But live streaming it is like, I mean, it's a whole next level of exhaust. I don't know how this robot does it. He's more machine than man, I'm pretty sure.
The lies you guys are coming up with right now that you're all putting into Twitch chat.
What's the channel name?
They told that our wonderful audience told the live stream chat that Jordan took his pants off. So now they all believe that that's a thing. So there we go. Thank you.
Someone in the Twitch chat said, can we all just take a moment to appreciate Ari's skirt?
It's a pink sheep.
Oh. I feel like Jordan's pants could come off very easily. They're green, so if one of the guys in the tech booth can just chroma key it, it's great. That would work.
That's a very
Make
common
it
thing people are
so.
saying in chat. It's like everywhere.
Oh, jeez. Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Good, how are you?
I'm all right.
Good. What's your question?
I was wondering what was it? What's your most memorable / favorite part of any stream?
What's your most memorable or favorite part of any stream you've done?
Okay, mine's super short, so I can get it out of the way quickly. I actually live streamed when I was coming up to my 1 million subscriber mark on YouTube. So that for me was a pretty big occasion. Like, we were all counting it down, everyone was refreshing the page, and there were those terrible people who want to be the millionth and will never know if they will be the millionth, but they unsubscribe and resubscribe, so it goes above by like 2 and nukes again by like 30. But when I actually finally hit that moment, and I vlogged the experience as well, and that was just such like a very surreal, euphoric moment, so that would probably be mine.
Yeah, I was going to say it's any sort of moment that really gets a rile out of people, like way more so than just any sort of normal activity.
I mean, like, one of my favorite things to do is just to mute the microphone. That's the greatest thing, to just watch chat's reaction when people just don't get it. Just mute it, and they don't see you muting it, and then it's just, you talk for 5 minutes, and they're just mind blown. Like, people, they just can't handle the fact that they're being trolled right now. They just can't handle it.
He loves to do that too.
He is a nice person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello. Do you believe that people who pay money to streams deserve more respect than people who don't? It's an all-round question.
What do you mean they pay to stream?
Like they pay, they subscribe, or they donate to the stream.
Oh,
I've
do you
run
think
into
they
a few
deserve more
scenarios.
recognition?
I don't think they deserve any more respect. Recognition is certainly something that I'd like to give out to people that, you know, kind of help towards that. Because I use all of the money from my donations to go back into making the stream itself better. I don't ever, you know, just put it into my own bank account and go on a holiday or whatever. Like, I've recently upgraded my home setup so it's got monitors and soundproofing and all that sort of stuff. And I've seen people kind of poking me saying, oh, this guy, you must have donated like, you know, £300 this month. Why don't you make him a mod? And I'm like, absolutely no. You are never going to buy power or any kind of position of authority like that with donations. I absolutely appreciate the support, but all I ever expect from somebody watching my channel is just that they watch and hopefully, you know, turn off ad blocker.
I think the key thing with YouTubers and people who broadcast is that everyone who watches our stream, whether they donate money or not, is what allows us to do what we love. And so whether you have money to donate or you don't, we're equally as appreciative of the support that you give us, whether it's just a comment that's like, hey, I really like your videos, or whether it's a monetary donation. I think that everybody is equally as treasured and valued because you're the reason we are able to do what we do, whether you give us money or not. Yeah, Bible thump. Woo! Thank you. That's a Twitchy.
Thank you.
I
Thank
should
you
say
too.
that to people who don't know what Twitch is. Bible thump.
Hello.
Hi.
I would like to ask Martin, what's it like to work with the members of the Outcast? They seem like a great bunch of people, and I'd like to meet them one day.
It's great, yeah. Like, I mean, I kind of came into the group a little bit late, so I was really apprehensive about them all knowing each other from the WoW days and all that sort of stuff. But basically how they are in the video, like Shin's just as trolly, Simon's just as colourful, Terps is probably louder in person than he is in videos. But no, all of them are basically how you see them on the screen. Obviously, we're all a bit more energetic, like same with me as well. But I've never in the whole time that I've worked at the office ever had any kind of qualms or any kind of arguments with people. It's literally just been really smooth sailing, and it's just nice to be in an environment where everyone actually wants to help each other. Like, you know, I can go to Shin and say, hey, do you want to do Turbo Kart Races? And he was like, yeah, sure, like, let's pencil in a time. I've never had anyone turn around and say, no, I don't want to play with you. There's no kind of cliques or anything. It's just a really positive, and we all kind of want the same goal as well. We want to put a good product into the world and also be able to bring as many people on that journey with us as possible, whether it be in-house or external editors and artists. It's just really positive, I'd say, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question. I'm so sorry. Hi.
Hi. What's the recommended processor and amount of RAM for Twitch streaming?
Oh, I mean, I think it really depends on your computer, but these technical guys could probably answer that.
Yeah, it really depends. If you just want to do like a lower bandwidth broadcast, you really don't need much of anything special. If you want to go like to bump it up to pretty high quality, you're looking at an i7 processor and quite a bit of RAM.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we can do, I lied, we can do one more, real quick. But I like your Ionite costume. You're welcome.
Do you have any sort of general tips for people starting a stream?
Go, real quick, end to end. General tips for broadcasting,
I guess
5 seconds, go.
I haven't spoken in a little while. Make sure that you're doing a game that you enjoy playing. Make sure that you're enjoying doing it. I think enjoyment is probably the most important part of it. If you were starting off because you think, I want to get really big amounts of people watching me, it's probably not the right motivation for it. So I would say also try finding friends. Meeting people is one of the best things about doing anything like online video game content production related. So if you can meet people along the way, make friends, collaborate, make content with them, I would say that's the best approach for it.
I have a bit of an oddball answer to this one, but this is sort of like if I'm ever trying to learn something, I don't like publicly put this out there, but I try and exactly copy whoever I'm inspired by, just so I can know the process of like setting up my stream that way. And another answer is just lots and lots of tinkering around and practice. You know, just practice constantly until you're happy with it. If you're happy with it, then, you know, you'll go places.
I think another thing as well is Twitch is a very personal platform, and you can feel like a very strong connection with your audience, but then that can also bring out kind of the negative sides of it as well. Like if you don't do what your chat is telling you or asking you to do, whether it be backseat gaming, what game you're playing, stuff like that, it can get to you a little bit. So I think it's just you've got to remember to be firm but fair. Like, you know, let somebody know why you're giving them a timeout, and let them know that if they do it again, then they will get a ban. Just be very blunt with them, but never feel like you owe them absolutely everything. Like never feel like you have to be a slave and do exactly what they say.
My tip is don't talk yourself out of it. A lot of people don't stream because they think I need a better computer, I need to be better at talking, or like just freaking do it and figure it out after you've started. I had a terrible computer when I first started, and you just improve along the way. Don't find excuses. If you're interested in it, just do it.
I think it depends on your goals. If your goals are just to stream for friends or whatever, the most important thing by far is having fun. If your goal is to grow an audience, then my number one tip is, well, 2 tips. Set a schedule, a really good schedule that you can keep, and honestly, do the same thing over and over and over and over, and build a community around that one thing, and then you can start to expand out into other things.
My suggestion would be the chat room. Like, focus solely on the chat room. The chat room is there to be with you while you're streaming, and I see a lot of first-time streamers kind of forget that the chat room is there. It would be hard if you know, you kind of have a smaller chat room because you're a new streamer, but whoever is there, have a conversation with them, and really, my whole stream is about my chat room.
Thank you.
And I kind of have to mimic the chat here. And what they're all saying is, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. All right, guys, I think
your dreams come true.
Some Shia LaBeouf there.
I think that's all the time we have. Thank you guys so much for coming. Let's give our panelists a wonderful
Nice
round of
iodine
applause.
costume.
Have fun.